Alright, so to do lab 5, what we want to do is open up a new title block. So if you guys remember, it's saved in your H drive, so you go to the icon up here to the left, go to open, you search into the looking tab over here, you look for H drive. You probably have yours named as CAD 116.
So we're not going to the Rev A to get it?
Okay, so basically what we're going to be designing is this one right here. I actually don't have it open for some reason. No. So the way you want to do that is make sure that you have your snap mode on your left corner. Since we changed our icons, it looks kind of different. If you still have your icons and you don't have these words, what you can do is right click on any of them, go to enable or disable, something like that. So it'll show you either text or icons on the bottom, right under the toolbar. And there you can decide if you prefer using the icons or the words themselves. The words are actually the old school way, so the old version of AutoCAD has it in Word. The newer versions, since 2010 I believe, are with icons. So we want snap on, so you click that on, make sure it's highlighted. That way it will allow us to snap onto the grid, which we have on also.
You want us to change the title again?
Don't forget, before you start, change your text. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the text. When you see it highlighted, double click on it,
And then what does it do?
and it allows you to change the words. So you select, or you go from backspace, and you type in whatever you need to type in. Usually the title is actually PLT5, or you could call it Lab 5.
Lab 5 is fine, right?
Lab 5 is fine. We'll understand what it's just preference. And once you have that completed with the new date, remember today is another day, so it's a different date. You go back to the icon, you go save as, and then you save it into the same folder where you opened up your title block, but you save it as Lab 5 or PLT5, Plate 5. That way, once you get started, all your data gets automatically saved every 15 minutes or so. So we have our snap-on, we have our file saved, we have our title page changed. What we need to start doing now is actually doing the drawing. Based on the drawing that we have, let me see if I can open it up. There we go, it's a little big. We can tell which box to start from. If you don't want to use the move command, that's fine, so you just start from this point here. We'll work up and actually to the center. What we can do is actually mirror it across like before. So I'll show you how to do that next. So looking at that, we go to our line command, which is in our home tab. If you don't have lines shown here, make sure this is active, not one of these other options, these tabs. So you go to home, your line command, or you can type in L enter, and we're going to start a point that is 4 boxes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 across. From there, we're going up 2, 3, 10 boxes up. So they're half an inch. Like so. And what I just drew, I'll just show that drawn, was we went up to the circle where that circle begins, because that's an arc. We don't want to create a straight line over that arc. So we're going to go 1 across now, going to go up 5 up, 2 and 1 across. From there we're going to use the mirror command, so we'll know exactly our center is right here, and we'll mirror it over. If you don't like mirror, you can, for this drawing, you can do actually just regular lines. It's up to you. So we go to line command, we do 1 box, we go up 5.
Trying to do arc doesn't make a comment. Maybe they match it up.
Then we go across 1.
Put it there at the end.
So we basically have this, which is actually an exact mirror image of the other side. If you guys can't remember mirror from the previous class, what you want to do is go to your mirror command, which is up here. Specified, it's right under rotate and next to copy. You select that command. You select the objects you would like to mirror, because our command bar asks us that. So you select all these. Make sure, you might be wondering, like, what do you do next? Make sure you click enter or space, because it's still asking if you want to select any more items or objects. No, you're fine, so you click space or enter, or you can even right click and enter. At this point, we want to create that mirror line. As we see on the demo of the mirror command, it shows you that the mirror line is actually the center line, where it reflects one side to the other. So our mirror line will actually be exactly vertical, where it starts at this point. Make that's easy for you guys, and we'll go up, or you can even go down, because it's still creating that same center line. Then you place that line by clicking, and it's going to ask you, would you like to erase our original object, or this is what we're mirroring. Default is no, so that's what I like, so I'll keep it and just click enter or space. That creates our bottom portion of the design. What we can do next is do the arc. To do that, there's a few different options. You can create a circle and trim it out, or you can create an arc directly. In your circle command, there's a few different types of circles. We're just going to work out with the sense radius. Start with that one. That's the easiest, or diameter, depending on what you prefer typing in as in sizes. For this project, we're not typing in sizes since we don't have dimensions. So we'll just go with the first one that comes up. And you can also access the circle command by typing C-enter in your keyboard. Our center of our circle will be actually the center point of this grid between these two lines. Since there's 4 boxes, we know which one the center is, and we go 2 across. You may be able to snap on to the edge. That's that yellow sign that tells you that there's an end point there that you can snap onto, because our O snap is currently active. So we click there, and that creates that circle. Now that's a problem with that is because we do not need the bottom portion of that circle. Before I get to that point, but how to trim, walk around and make sure everybody's cut off. So once you're right here, what you want to do is we're going to use the trim command to trim this area of the circle so we can remove it. To do that, your trim command is actually next to your rotate command, and if you hit the arrow, there's also extend. Well, we're trimming this one. So you want to select trim. The easiest way of using trim is just by selecting the entire object. We'll get more into trim later on in the semester, but this is the easy way of using it. So you hit trim, you select the entire object. It's also asking you, do you want to select any more? No, I'm fine. So I click enter, and now I can just click on the line I want to trim. So I'm trimming this line here, and that removes that up to the next intersection, which is this vertical 2 lines.
And if we have anything left over, like on the outside?
From there, we're going to add another circle at the center. So you go to your circle command, and we're creating a center circle. This one is only 1 box wide. We have that. Now we can work out the other part of the drawing, which is the top view. If this was actually, it might be front view, right side view. It's going to be 2 boxes across from the original design, and 1, 2, 3, 6 across. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can go all the way almost down, except for 3 back. So 1, 2, 3, just like that. This time I'm not going to use mirror because it's a simple box.
That's the line command you're using?
Yes. And for this time we're going to use the arc command. So it's going to be a little bit different. To do the arc command instead of the circle and trimming it, there is an arc option right next to your circle. An arc also offers you different ways of designing your arc. We're going to go with a simple 3-point arc, which is the default setup. which is the first one. So if you click on it, it'll always come back to your 3-point, unless you use something different. So we use the 3-point arc. It's going to ask you for a start point of the arc, which is going to be 1 end point. It's going to ask you for the second point of the arc, which is actually the end point. Oh, actually, no, they do it the other way. Sorry. So arc, start point. Then you have 2 options: center or end. We can create end. So we click the end. Oh man, what's going on? And then you click the center point. And let me show you this again. So arc, 3 points. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Start, center, end. Oh, they changed it. So you gotta select from 1 point to the center point to the end point of the arc. Technically, that's not the center point, but that is the arc. Now that looks like it's a little too short. It should have been here instead of here. What we remember from our previous classes, we can select the line. Using these blue points, we can stretch it out if we need it. Some of them move the objects, others stretch. When it's in the line, it actually stretches. So we select that center point, we move it down 1 box, which stretches it down and creates our perfect arc that we're looking for. No trimming needed. The next part will be to create that circle in the center. Again, you go to your circle command. You find that point where you need that circle to be placed. It's 1 box across, so we create that. Alright, our next step will be to create our center lines and our hidden lines. To do that, we can change our layers. Here in your Home tab, you'll see a light and some other symbols and the color of which you're drawing in. So here we change our layers. We're going to work with the hidden layer first. So if you scroll down, all you have to do is select this area. This will pop up, and you go to hidden. Now you're actively working in the hidden layer, from which point you can start drawing lines to correspond to these hidden lines. If you're snapping onto your object and it's interfering with catching the right spot, you can turn that off by going to OSnap. OSnap allows you to snap on specified points on a line or object. So you should have it off. So turn OSnap off, that way it doesn't interfere with using the grid. There we can create these hidden lines. You create one, you click enter to remove from the command, and you can go back to that same command by clicking space, enter, or right click, repeat line. It goes back directly into your previous command. And you do that for all parts of the drawing. Just like that. And I believe it. Make sure you don't miss any of these hidden lines. There are a few of them. Once you have those hidden lines, you will move forward to creating your center lines. Center lines also you would have to go up to here, to your layer menu bar, and you go to center, which is red. Sometimes they have it in yellow. Select that, and you will create 2 lines to correspond to the center of these circles. So to do that, you go back to your line command, and you're going to create a center line. The one thing about center lines, they are always overextended. They should not end at the actual drawing. So technically, this should be a little 1 box overextended, or maybe half a box, if you like. So you create one, then we have one more down here. So you create your center line, at which point you can just cross both, and that creates the center line of that circle. Next part would be to create those marks for the circles. Creating those marks represents these are the center points of the circles. To do that, we need to go to our Annotate tab, which is up here. You got your home, you got your insert. Annotate is the 3rd one down. From here, we go into our dimensions area. There is a word that says enter dimensions, and there's a little arrow down. You click on that arrow down, and it'll give you more options. One of these options has a circle with a plus sign in the middle. That's the the command you want to use. It's called the center mark. It actually specifies what it does exactly there. Read about that if you like. You select that, and you just select the circle, and that will pop up. You don't have to go back finding that. All you have to do is click space or enter, or right click, repeat, dim center. It goes back to your previous command, which was the center mark, and you do the same thing with the other circle. So at this point, you should have your hidden lines, and center marks. In addition to this, we're actually going to put in the text. The text can be easily placed. You're still in your Annotate tab where it says multi-leader. You select that command. You select the place you want to start your arrow from, where you're going to write your text. So you're going to select that line here, move it across, and here you can type in whatever is needed. So this one's going to be center line. Even though it's shown in black right now, it's going to be red. And there you go. We may want to change this text, this layer into text layer, possibly in the future. Let me check. We have that. In addition to that, you can also go back to that command. You can go to the hidden line up here, and you can place the text explaining what that is also. Hidden line. You can also hit enter in between the text to get one on top of the other in case there's not enough room. But that should be okay. There we go. And we have one more for the marker at the bottom. Here we type in center mark. Yeah, let me just check one more thing. No, we don't have a layer for text. Normally, if we had a layer for text, we would try to keep all our text in that same layer. But that concludes this lab. Don't forget to save your work. Go to Save As. Save your work as Lab 5 or PLT 5. Or if you already saved it and you know that, based on the top here, you can just quick save by clicking on that Save button.